Hello everyone, and welcome. I have such a special story for you today. It's a tale from a long, long time ago, about a hero, his family, and, well, a really important goodbye. Our story really kicks off with a big puzzle. It's a question a wise old king once asked, and it's something I bet you've wondered about too. Think about this. If somebody is just loved by everyone, how on earth could their story end sadly? It doesn't seem possible, right? Well, let's find out together. So let's meet this king. His name was Parikshit, and when our story starts, his heart was just so heavy. He was really, really sad, because he'd just heard that the family of the great hero Krishna, they were called the Yadus, were gone. They had just disappeared, and he couldn't wrap his head around it. How could a family so wonderful just vanish? His mind was just swirling with questions, and with tears in his eyes, he asked this. How did the chief of the Yadus give up his body, which was most dear to all eyes? What he was really asking was, Krishna was so amazing to look at, so beautiful. Everyone loved him. You couldn't not look at him. His voice was like a song. How could someone like that, someone so wonderful, leave this world in a sad way? It just didn't make any sense to him. Okay, so here's the thing about Krishna. He was incredibly wise, and he started seeing things, signs in the world, things in the sky, things on the earth that were like little warnings. He could tell that something really difficult was on its way, and he knew, deep down, he had to make a plan to keep his family safe.
So what does he do? He gets everyone together, all his family members, the Yadus, and you can just imagine him looking at all of them with so much love, but also with this urgency in his voice. He tells them, we should not stay here even for a moment. He knew they had to get out of their home, Dwarka, and find somewhere safe, somewhere peaceful.
And Krishna, being Krishna, didn't just have a warning. Nope, he had a plan. A beautiful, hopeful plan for peace. It was really simple, just 3 steps. First, he said, let's go to this special holy place called Prabhas. Step 2, once we're there, we'll bathe and pray, just to really cleanse our hearts. And the 3rd step was the best one. We're going to give amazing gifts to good people. It was a plan designed to just flood the world with goodness. And wow, just think about these gifts for a second. We're not talking about small things. Krishna told them to give away cows and land and gold, beautiful clothes, even elephants and horses and whole houses. This was way more than just giving stuff away. The whole point was to share happiness, to spread good fortune all around, all in the hope that it would stop any sadness from ever showing up. So the whole family, the Yadus, they listened to Krishna. They travel to that holy place, Prabhasa, and they start doing everything he said. But, and this is where the story takes a turn, even with that amazing plan, even with all those good feelings, something went terribly, terribly wrong. A huge sadness started to creep in. Well, here's what happened. While they were at Prabhasa, the heroes in the family, they drank this sweet drink. And they had no idea, but this wasn't an ordinary drink. It was so powerful that it sort of put a cloud over their minds. It muddled up their thinking and their hearts. It made them confused and it made them feel angry. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, is that it made them forget. It made them forget how much they loved each other. And this is probably the most heartbreaking part of the whole story. Just look. Before that drink, they were best friends. They were brothers. They were fathers and sons who cared for each other so much. But after, they looked at each other, and they saw an enemy. They became like strangers. All that love that connected them, it was just gone.
And in all that confusion, the family just fell apart. A son would argue with his own father. A brother would turn on his own brother. Best friends started fighting. Nephews and uncles. Everybody was fighting with everybody. It was just this awful, sad mess. And all of it, just because for a little while, they forgot about the love in their hearts.
So, after all that fighting and sadness, everything went quiet. And Krishna was all by himself. He just went and sat down under a big leafy tree. It was a pipala tree, and he was just still, so peaceful. Even after everything that had happened,
He was just sitting there, perfectly calm and quiet.
Now, at that very same moment, there was a hunter walking through the forest. His name was Jura. And from far away, peeking through the leaves, he saw something. It was the bottom of Krishna's foot. But Jura was so far away, he didn't see it clearly. He made a really big mistake. He thought it was a deer.
So thinking he's aiming at a deer, Jagwara pulls back his bow and he shoots an arrow. The arrow flies right to its target. He runs up, excited to see what he's caught, and then his heart just stops. He sees it wasn't a deer at all. It was Krishna, and he was just filled with this awful, horrible feeling. Fear, regret, everything.
He just drops to the ground, and he's shaking. He cries out, "I have done this terrible thing without knowing. Oh, Master, please, please forgive this sinful person." You can just feel how sorry he is, right? He knows he's made the worst mistake of his whole life, and he's just begging for forgiveness. And right here, this is it. This is the most important part of the whole story. This is the moment that teaches us everything. What is Krishna going to do? Think about it. How would you react if someone hurt you, even by accident? Well, what he does next, this is a lesson in what real forgiveness looks like.
So Krishna looks down at this poor, scared hunter, and his eyes aren't filled with anger, they're filled with love. And he speaks in this really soft, gentle voice. He says, "Do not be afraid, Jara. Get up. This was my wish." Can you believe that? He wasn't mad, not one bit. He was actually comforting the guy who had just hurt him. But wait, it gets even more amazing. Krishna didn't just say, "I forgive you," and leave it at that. Oh no. He gave Jara a gift, an incredible gift, a special flying airplane, a chariot that could soar through the sky to take him to a beautiful place, a heaven where good people go. So think about that. Someone hurts him, and Krishna's response is to give a gift of pure, unconditional love.
And even in his last moments, he was still thinking about others. He gave a final message to his good friend, Daruka. He told him to gather up everyone who was left and take them somewhere safe. And once he knew they would be okay, his time on earth was done. He departed from the world. So that is the story of a great goodbye. It's a sad story in some ways, isn't it? But it's also so beautiful because it shows us that the most powerful thing in the entire universe might just be forgiveness. And it leaves us with this one big question to think about. A question for your own heart. When is it the hardest for you to show kindness and to forgive someone? That's a really wonderful thing to think about, isn't it? Thanks so much for listening today.